Week project. How the heck are you? I hope you were able to get the, I was about to say warning that I'm going to be doing a show. Hopefully you got the message. I appreciate you so much for being here. These live shows are great. And actually, this discussion is going to be about Dumuzid. And many of you are like, who the heck's that? Well, that is actually the antediluvian king that ruled for 36,000 years, depicted as Jesus, in my opinion, in the Holy Bible that most people have access to. Now, the Sumerian scribe, Oxford translated, I shouldn't say Sumerian scribe, it's an ancient Mesopotamian cuneiform tablet that shows 241,000 years of kingsmanship, of king's rule before the flood. Let me repeat that, 241,000 years. And some of these kings ruled for 30, 40,000 years and more. Now, this incredible king, King Dumuzid, was actually also the husband to Inanna, Ishtar. Yeah. And this deity, this being, spent 3 days, 3 nights in the netherworld, went through many of the same trials and tribulations that Jesus did, and also is referenced as the king of the shepherds and the fishermen kings. It's fascinating. So connecting all these dots here, and you see those Jesus bumper stickers that has Jesus inside of the fish. Well, I'm going to read to you some ancient Sumerian stories that are called the story of the fish or something like that. I'll get to that in just a moment. So this is incredible. I am so excited. I've been asking who is the real Jesus? What was his real name? What was his deal? What was he about? I've been asking these questions for so long and really diving deep as of late, and here's the answer, folks. So if you don't agree, hey, no problem. I get it. However, for those of you that are even extremely skeptical about this, that say, hey, I know Jesus' name is Joshua and that's his real name. It's okay. Well, what do you really know about Joshua? Do you really follow the official version that you've been told about the 33 years, and that is the year of his crucifixion, the 3 nights, 3 days, and then coming back up, being resurrected, and then Easter, boom! People worship Easter as the resurrection of Christ. Easter, Ishtar, Inanna. Inanna actually had to give up her husband, Jesus, as a replacement for her to get out of the netherworld. Now, Dumuzid was her husband. And Dumuzid is also a king of 36,000 years.
Come and say Dumuzid is better than Nagon. Tell your me say Dumuzid is better than Nagon.
How do you not see the dots here, folks?
Come and say if you can't stick around, if you're shut down. Say Dumuzid is pretty rubber ya home.
Yet in reality,
come and say Dumuzid is better than Nagon.
Easter, Ishtar, Inanna was the one that gave him up so she could. Wow. Total. This is just mind-boggling right here. So let me repeat this. Dumuzid, the shepherd, ruled for 36,000 years. Dumuzid, then later on in the Sumerian text, after the flood, when people didn't last as long, when the carbon copy wasn't built to withstand the elements as much, when they manipulated the DNA a little bit so they could keep control of their minions more and keep them at a certain timetable, then they could reabsorb their soul energy as a battery power. People think so often that they manipulated man for just gold. Well, they did it for a lot more than just gold. They did it for gold. They did it for elements. They did it for mining purposes. They did it for slave purposes. They did it for what would you make a robot for to do stuff you didn't want to do? Well, that's pretty much what they made us for, ladies and gentlemen. And then they're like, oops, we made these things way too powerful. We made these things way too capable of thinking for themselves. And you know what? This might mess with our hegemony, so we better cause a great flood. And then you read the Old Testament. We caused the flood because all those people were evil devil worshippers, They were worshiping the devil. All right, I'm navigating. So, let's go. Inanna. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here's where we need to go. I'm listening to some good dubstep right now. Actually, it's more like, a little bit more techno. Dumuzid, the shepherd, Jesus, not to be mistaken, not to be confused with Dumuzid, the fisherman. No, they intertwined the fisherman and the carpenter, and the shepherd, and the sheep, and the lamb. They intertwined it all together in this one character named Jesus in the Holy Bible, in the New Testament. So, one person might say, Rex, what are you saying? Is Jesus real or is Jesus made up? Well, which version do you want to follow, folks? Do you want to read these texts that are thousands of years older, that have been inscribed in clay tablets, that are at least 6,000 years old, that are translated from scribes, prophecies, scriptures that predate their civilization by thousands of years, the Errata people? I've confirmed that a shadow of a doubt the Errata people existed way before the Sumerians, because the Sumerians talked about it. And they talked about how they were the great builders. They built Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe. I even said it without having a shapeshifter moment. I mean, isn't this just awesome? Isn't this just... This is what I've been looking for right here, folks. And thank you for joining me. I want to give credit where credit is due to the project members of these Oxford scholars that translated these incredible tablets that are just ancient. So, now, boom, the moment you've been waiting for, the motherlode, the epoch, the treasure trove, the plethora of data for you, ladies and gentlemen. 113 paragraphs that discuss Dumuzid. And I read through every single one of these before sharing this information with you. And I want to give you some of the gems that I discovered. Now, there's a praise poem of Sulji, and Sulji says, "When I have bayed for the king, for the Lord, when I have bayed for the shepherd," Dumuzid. How many times does it say in the Bible, oh, you know, be good sheep, we have a shepherd here, be good sheep, just do what you're told, just do what you're told, don't question anything, because if you question things, that's when you start thinking for yourself, and that's when you start gaining control of your free will, and that's when God gets pissed off, and that's when he decides to kill you. So don't think for yourself, even though you have free will, ladies and gentlemen, because you'll burn in hell.